Wow, well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and welcome to everybody here in Bilbao and online. And actually, it's such an amazing array of topics and presentations. So I think we need to have a quick breath, right? Breathing. So can we all please now here, at least in the room, I can see that clearly, breathe in really deeply once, ready? Well, that was the break, right? So that I'm granting you, but jumping into a topic that I would like to inspire you for right now, and I would like to invite you that we come together now to explore a space for planetary innovation and hope, I would say, and I want to start with this image. So let's step back for a moment, right, to see where we are. And obviously, this is a photograph from the ISS. And it shows all the beauty, right? We are always in awe when we see that image. And, the understanding that this is where we are here right now. We are coming together here right now on this amazing planet. Well, with all those, challenges that we are confronted with, how would it be if we explore a space that is not pushing us into a future, but pulling us, which means it would be a space that we desire to go, that we may even want to explore and unfold in our own practice and life, and that may even help us in our own way of happiness. Well, that's quite a big claim, and to go there, I would say we need to actually go there, all of us. Every single one of us on this planet needs to come with us on this journey. And there's something hidden here already in the all of us, because who is all of us? And I would like to extend the all of us to all life. So I think we're not going to make this journey as easily as it may be possible if we are not inviting really all of us on this planet. And there is something hidden, Anupam, I'm quoting you from lunch, hidden in plain sight on this image here. So what would you guess what you see here on this image? It is the aliveness of the planet. And how that amazing planet came into existence, it's not a story of, there was atmosphere always there, but it was an actual event. The great oxidation event, just 2.5 billion years ago, but it was an event that was sparked by life, by plant life, that our atmosphere came into existence. So I would like to strongly recommend and suggest that we, reestablish our kinship with the more than human life on the planet, to understand it, and even to understand what it really means to be human. And that's the tiny journey we are going into in the next 20 minutes. So I want to take you and invite you to this journey to imagine. Imagine a place of true togetherness of us on the planet with all life. And I guess we have to relearn this, and it sounds ironic, but wouldn't there a better moment than right now, our awakening of understanding that maybe, humanness does not mean to just be ourselves on the planet, but that the realization of that we are living in the so-called Anthropocene sparks an awareness, a new consciousness that actually can unfold a new way of how we act and live and share and co-create on this planet. Carrie Young, this artist that you see here on this image, she's balancing on the rubble of a Middle Eastern city, and what she's doing with her artwork, she's reflecting on the binary mode of the modern principle, of the modern Western way of life that so easily in language, separates us from our environment. Just consider this word. So there are these binary parts like culture and nature, technology and the organic, the city and the landscape, and so on and so on. And if you think that's a small detail, well, our argument would be that what you see here, for instance, that we outpaced the entire organic mass on the planet by 2020 with our Anthropocenic, developed materials on the planet, then this comes from a mental, conscious separation of us with the environment. You certainly know those images, as you can see here on Vancouver Island in 2023, huge protests, especially from the young people, were failing to save this ancient forest from logging. And this other reality that, it's a strange metrics that I'm sharing with you right now, but the entire human mass of, the entire population of humans on the planet amounts to 420 million cubic tons. We're not going to get into this, what that means in comparison to 1 billion metric tons of domesticated animals, comparison to 90 million metric tons only of vertebrate wildlife on our planet. So, these numbers, of course, let me first stop and creates certain concerns, but then it also creates a space for action and for correction. And so we should ask if this divide that we have been living on and thriving on as societies of the last 100 and more years, of this division that made it so easy to prosper our culture, our societies, in the separation, if we really have to continue that way. I would like to share with you a leitmotif, so-called, and breathing as this leitmotif for our future, because breathing is what unites us all on this planet. All life is breathing. It's so simple. Actually, just during the pandemic, we came together at my Institute of Architecture and Landscape at TU Graz, and we came together as a group of people who, from different fields and disciplines, were sharing their understanding of what it really means to engage in atmosphere and air as a medium, as a leitmotif that, kind of bring us in this communal planetary future. And we realized that with Heidegger, that's all the theory I'm sharing with you today, he forgot actually air in his conception of space. So there's space in objects, but the Western conception of space is just ignoring air and atmosphere. So when we go into this, we realize, when we are part of this, it's hardly to continue to talk of an environment, of something that is outside of us. There is only an environment, and that is our planet we live on. So let's get and think about how to practice this aliveness, how to practice this possible way of coming together. And when we look at this animation here, that you can't see on that screen or barely here, but probably online, what you see here is the aliveness, the molecules of the forest flowing through space and informing different species of life. It's an amazing way of communicating in the forest. And translating this performative capacities, remember this notion, into this diagram, what you see here in this distortion of our continents is the depiction of the capacity of living material to perform and to capture carbon or to practice photosynthesis And this causes this distortion in this map. And this translates into this when you think about the annual change of these performative capacities of life on our planet. It's hiding in plain sight how our planet has a heartbeat or is breathing or however you want to talk about it. But this amazing rhythm, this amazing heart, keeps us alive, and it actually sequesters carbon in an amazing way that we should re-understand and rediscover as something to engage in our understanding of what a city is or what a landscape is. Just very briefly here you see how much carbon is being stored in the ground and even in the deserts. So that is really amazing and surprising. And just recently discovered from a study this year, the underground mycelium network, so the fungi network of the planet, is biannually capturing 36% of our annual global fossil fuel emissions. An amazing number to think about the ground and to think about how to restore our soils and to think about how quickly we have to get rid of the chemicals that are preventing this life in the ground to unfold. So, if this is also part of all of us, here you see the mycelium actually moving carbon through their network, then how can we translate this also into a practice, also an economical practice? And there is really hope. Once we understand that those maps actually are the maps that on an event level, and we go behind that event and understand that we have to engage nature and the performative capacities of nature, then we understand and we can discover the capacities of our natural world to mitigate climate change. And here you see a graph from the IPCC that shows, I'm highlighting here, two spheres of engagement. You see the cityscape, the sphere of the built environment, and above you see the natural sphere. And you see in the graph there is an immense potential if we engage in restoring and building and reconceiving our cities through the eye of the natural performance. And in more detail, what if we marry those two spheres? What if we really invite the aliveness of the planet to become part of our city making in an unprecedented way? And I think we really need to reconceive how we start thinking about what a city is. And there's also hope on the horizon with biodiversity credits, which really allows us to value that biodiversity that you create in your city making. And that value can really then be applied to build these capacities in our future cities. So I think there is hope when you think about a city that actually engages in this aliveness of our planet. And to practice this mindset, of course, we have to shift from our current practice that is extractive to an integral planetary mindset. It needs new ways of teams, of team building, and I would say everybody is invited to participate in these new ways of creation. And very importantly, departing from conceptual silos and moving into systems thinking is a very big part to make the SDGs actually into an alive and vibrant and a very powerful space. So quickly, I'm sharing with you how from the planet we come down to an actual project, to an actual space we would thrive in. And this is where my revelation in this Cathedral of Light at Muir Woods in California started. Because, moving from that forest out to the forest edge, you could discover an almost 12 degrees Celsius temperature difference between this amazing performative space of the forest and just 100 meters on the outside, on the hillside. So when we analyzed these capacities of the performance of the forest, we realized that this is a starting point for our research at TU Graz, but then also for our practice at Terrain Integral Designs. So we started to design these systems of all of us. It's not just humans, it's really all life that we are inviting for our project and for our understanding of how to, conceive a city or a neighborhood or a building from a very different point of view. And instead of offsetting our CO2 credits, how about insetting them and making them part of our actual designs and projects? Very literally, we have been inviting life into that building that I'm sharing with you right now. Its performance, its capacity to build not only oxygen, but also an atmosphere that is most comfortable. So this building was conceived from an idea of landscape, where we introduced 12 microforests into the building to substitute by 100% any kind of HVAC systems that usually buildings are running through. So literally, we have been planting these microforests into the ground that turned into vibrant, performative, living and breathing courtyards. And this environment is an environment that is not only breathing, but it's completely petroleum-free. The building is built from only organic material and is carbon, let's say, neutral in the sense of that all energy is being produced on site, and that these plants and courtyards are, again, providing the performative capacity to cool this entire building of 12,000 square meters through their own performance. These are the actual heroes here. These are our plant communities, and we have heard a lot about human communities yesterday and today, and now here are the plant communities. They also thrive as a community. So designing with plant communities, creates an amazing resilience, but also a capacity to learn about our entanglement with the aliveness of, these plant communities. We are deeply entangled as humans with the aliveness of our living world. And, this is something that not only Harvard School of Public Health discovered, but that is being, I think, has to be reconceived as a strategy to also think about the health of our urban environments. This image from one of the courtyards that you see here, we have underlined with the Japanese notion of komorebi. Komorebi means light falling through leaves. What a beautiful word in Japanese, and they understand that this is a capacity also in terms of forest bathing that we have to explore on a global scale. The biophilic capacity, but has a deeper one even. When you think about the communities of the microbiome of those forests, and this microbiome is distributed not only in the soil, but has different strata in the plant sphere as well. And again, that microbiome, of course, is then distributed throughout that building, and something amazing happened that we have not conceived so far. But maybe quickly to this image here, going beyond the rational understanding of who we are, conceiving 16 informations a second only, rationally, we can distinguish 16 informations a second. Our body takes up 4 million informations a second. We are so much more than rational beings, and maybe buildings. What happened is that, once the staff of the Grüne Erde moved into that building, the sick leave rate dropped to almost zero. What an amazing effect that have. And when I visit the building, I always feel like I'm going into a yoga space because the people are just so relaxed but very focused. The same principle here in the area of the production, of the textile production. So it's a principle that is laid out through the entire building, benefiting everyone and everybody. So as the time is up already for quite some time here, I'm coming to an end, and look at this boy that is appreciating just what we talked about, the 4 million informations a second. This is what humanness is to be rediscovered. And so with this last image, I want to speak out an invitation to you. Let's work together on this. I think we need really everyone and everybody from all fields. If you are a student, a PhD, right, or a client or a city maker, we have to work on this together, because you can see how much effort and how much knowledge from different disciplines can come together for this future that I can imagine for all of us to thrive in. Thank you so much.